technology. So let's go to the next one. The next topic we are going to talk about. We're going to update you the blockchain technologies in Asia nowadays. So if you know more about the trends, so you see that all the new business opportunities I was going to show to every one of you too. So we are going to see together how the blockchain technology can improve your business opportunities or your business efficiency. Are you ready? Okay, please give a big round of applause to welcome Mr. Carl Wegner, R3 Head of Asia.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is wonderful, and the first thing I want to say is thank you to TIS and IM Consulting for this amazing venue, all these wonderful guests. I think the first time I came, I was figuring out the first time I came to Thailand was probably 30 years ago. So I've been visiting Thailand a lot. I never thought I'd be sitting talking about 30 years ago. I certainly never thought I'd be sitting talking about blockchain on a stage with so many wonderful people. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about how Corda can be used in different businesses. I'm going to have a few colleagues talking about specific areas, but I'm talking in general about Corda, taking a little bit more from David's talk and getting down a little bit deeper. If it goes. All right. So the Corda network, the R3 network is a group of hundreds of banks, so financial institutions, insurance companies, brokers, exchanges, central banks, and technology companies all working together to understand the potential of blockchain and building on Corda. What we do, right? We have the tech, right? So Corda, as we've talked about, is some recently described it as the Internet of Enterprise blockchain, right? It's the base technology that companies are building on to create solutions for customers. The Corda network is the one where it makes sure all the apps, the Corda apps, work together, right? Because one of the benefits of blockchain is that we're all sharing information. If there's no collaboration and everything's built in silos, a lot of that benefits of blockchain are going to go away. It's going to be the same thing the way things are now. So the network is where they all connect. And that Corda base layer allows apps, whether they're built on open source or enterprise, to communicate. The ecosystem, again, is all the vendors that are building on it, supporting vendors, something like enterprise software vendors. We have Microsoft, et cetera, are also helping build and are part of that ecosystem. Now, the apps can be as simple or as complicated as they want to be. But the nice thing about if you build an app for one specific instance, for instance, a trade finance app. Well, trade finance may also need KYC. It may also need a payment. You don't have to build everything at once. It's impossible to build everything at once, right? But your app can interact with the other apps. So the value of your app is multiplied because your trade finance app also has the ability to make a payment by collaborating with another app. And again, the services from a Corda basis, from Corda, we have professional services to help the community grow, right? And that's one of the things we continue to build. I'm running R3 Asia here. When I started, about 2 years ago, we had 6 people. Now we have 22. We're looking at getting close to 30 by the end of the year, right? Continue to grow because there's an amazing, acceptance in Asia of blockchain and what it can do. In this ecosystem, we've done over 100 projects, POCs, whatever you want to call them. But what they are is learning experience. Each one has 5 to 10 financial institutions, banks, or members on it. The biggest one had, 42, right? So 42 from, about 15, 20 different countries all working together, right? But each one of these projects, we learn a little bit. And it could be about payments. It could be about KYC. What we've discovered, though, is that they all sort of fall into these 5 categories. So digital identity, insurance, cash and payments, trade finance, and capital markets are the different areas that most of these solutions have fallen into. And now we see companies building for these specific areas. Now it can be a small company that has a new idea. I want to use blockchain, the benefits of blockchain, to build a new solution that hasn't been done before. Or it can be large companies, large technology companies that want to upgrade their system. They want to offer something new. They already have hundreds of banks on their platform, but they want to offer a new solution based on blockchain that will evolve and be able to expand on the ecosystem. But these are sort of the areas where we've seen most of these apps and the growth. Now again, these are mostly related to finance, but now we see it going outside of finance, right? We see insurance has gone into healthcare. Trade finance, has gone into logistics, right? We see automotive. We see other areas other industries are saying, food provenance, food safety, right? There's a lot of things that are areas that are saying the benefits of blockchain could track the information to be more efficient and to give clarity on what is going on. So as David said, this is just a sample of the apps we have on the App Store. You saw the marketplace, right? So whether they're syndicated lending, trade finance, FX matching, healthcare, right? We have a lot of apps that are being built, and these are going live now, right? These are not just an idea. These are going live. They have customers, and they continue to expand. And what's interesting is we see them begin, and I think Henry will talk about it in trade finance, and Pintuan will talk about it. We see some of these consortiums growing together, right? Collaborating. So don't worry, I won't get too technical. I'm not technical, right? So I can't get too technical. But a couple pieces about, why Corda is different. We have the advantage of starting Corda a little bit later than some of the other systems. We probably did about 30 projects on the existing blockchain systems to learn what was good, what was bad, what worked, what didn't. And then we decided to build the Corda base layer. And so, again, what's very important? For enterprise blockchain, privacy and interoperability, right? And so those two are the base tenets when we built Corda, that we said it has to have this to work for business. Of course, it is blockchain. So you have all those benefits of blockchain you talk about, immutability, records are stored, they can't be changed, mutual verification. I see what you see, right? So we see the same data, then no one can fool each other, right? No one can lie because we're seeing the same thing. Security and privacy, right? It's not a broadcast to the whole world and then hide it from 99%, right? If I'm doing a transaction with one person, we're the 2 people should be seeing this transaction, not the whole room. Now, integration, of course, and our partners are building this integration with ERP systems, the shared facts on ledger, smart contracts. Again, how do we automate an atomic transaction? A payment and an asset are transferred, the value transfers instantly. It's not T+2, it's same time. Interoperability, of course, that collaboration has always been at the base of how we started thinking about R3, that collaboration. Imagine 9 banks talking, they want to work together to build something. That doesn't happen very often, right? So from the very beginning, we've talked about collaboration as a way to make blockchain work. And of course, transparency, right? Transparency, understanding how the system works. So again, we build blockchain for enterprise. And I'm not going to do all these details, but it's basically the network, right? The interoperability allows different solutions from different areas. And so you talk about, say, healthcare. Well, KYC is needed for healthcare. It's also needed for trade finance. It's also needed for voting, right? So the same solutions can be used in multiple different ways. So again, we started from the very beginning to build a blockchain that was usable for enterprises, that made sense would work with real businesses. Again, you've seen this slide already, right? So again, we had the advantage of starting from learning from the very early beginners of blockchain. We say Bitcoin inspired, right? So we use Bitcoin was an amazing, Bitcoin and that first blockchain was an amazing idea, but again, we've made it, enterprise enabled, right? And so we have that interoperability, right? You don't have assets trapped. Right now, in other systems, for instance, one blockchain, the one in the middle there, you have each blockchain is its own very efficient blockchain, but then they can't talk to each other. They don't talk to each other. We're sitting at the same point we were before, right? All the legacy systems. I previously worked at a bank. The bank had 14,000 different back office systems. Every time you did an upgrade, something would fail. Why? Because they said, well, we tested and it was fine. Well, you tested on 8 systems, but it touched 9. But no one knew it touched that 9th system, right? You have to have a way to have interoperability so that the systems are talking to each other. So openness, scalability, privacy, some of the basic tenets, consensus, shared logic. I'll talk about consensus for a moment. Consensus, deciding if a fact is correct or not. It's configurable, right? There's not one consensus. Because a transaction, inter-branch transaction, for instance, in payments, doesn't need to be it has to be verified, but it's not as complicated as a international $1 billion FX transaction, right? So different levels of consensus, just like right now, right? In the paper world, you have signing authority, right? One person can sign for this. You need 2 people, 3 people. You need the big boss to sign off. Right? So this is the same, configurable consensus. Let's make this work for business. And then the legal validity of contracts. David talked about we have a legal center of excellence. The legal framework is incredibly important, right? From a regulatory side as well as from the legal side. We're working with over 10 law firms now for them to understand how this is going to work, right? Because this is going to affect how they're, what is legal? How does it work? Right, they're going to have to understand this. The courts are going to have to understand this. I was talking to regulators recently, and they said, we understand how to audit paper documents. We understand how to audit computer records. We don't know how to audit blockchain yet. We need to learn too, right? So this learning, again, we have about 20 regulators in our membership, and they're working together to learn how this is going to change. It changed their life and it can be more efficient, but they're going to have to learn as well to see what has to change. So again, talking about moving from Fabric or Ethereum to Corda, we've had a few big consortiums. B3I is a large insurance consortium. They built on the other systems first, decided that Corda made more sense, so they switched to Corda. Chain.that is also an insurance consortium. Again, they decided that Corda makes more sense. They built over a year ago. They did a demo at our CordaCon in London and showed, again, how they built that interoperability. They built originally in Hyperledger Fabric, and now they've moved to Corda. So how do companies work with us? And there's lots of different companies here. We have banks, we have corporates, we have technology companies here. So there's different ways you can get in and use Corda. So in ISV, right, if you have an idea, right, you can design a Corda app. Come up with an idea, we can help you, right? How do we help you? Well, we can help you as you design it, but also as you build it, if you're a small company, we can introduce it to the whole ecosystem, right? One shot you can see, how would a small company get to see the CTOs of 100-some banks? Pretty hard to do that one shot. They're all our members, right? We're all sharing this information. So there's one opportunity for commercial, moving from, talking to the customers, building it to customer outreach, commercialization. If you're a delivery partner, right? Building training, you can potentially be a reseller of Corda, right? Corda Enterprise. Now we have Corda Open Source and Corda Enterprise, but being a reseller, you can be a reseller of Corda Enterprise as that base layer as you build something on top of it. A small company may say, I need to I have this wonderful solution built on Corda. You need to go buy Corda to use it. So to use Excel, you have to buy Windows, right? In this case, it could be bundled up. So, okay, here's my product, here's my service. It also has Corda built in. Again, an infrastructure partner, again, you have an existing tech stack, and you want to modify it. You want to add more functionality. You want to make sure it's blockchain enabled, right? So you can work with our solution engineers. We have a few here, right? Leverage our support services. Figure out how that's going to help build your business, right? How it's going to build. If you're a cloud provider, how are you going to use more cloud, right? How to expand your business, right? We collaborate with lots of different cloud providers, whether it's AWS or Azure, Microsoft, others. We collaborate, as many as want. We're trying to make it as easy as possible to use us. We're not locking you in one technology stack. One thing that companies are doing, right? So a lot of companies here are doing what we call a Corda trial, right? Going to a technology partner and saying, I want to test this out. Does this make sense for me? Right? A Corda trial. So what does that mean? I want to learn, and again, it goes back to our early days, we go way back, 3 years. Well, in blockchain, that's a long time. But 3 years ago, we were doing these trials, right? These tests. A POC, it doesn't have to be that big, right? It doesn't have to include everything, but you learn from it. So a Corda trial is a solution built by a technology company for a company, right? And that Corda trial can look at how companies work together, right? We have the membership. We can bring more collaborative partners to work with you together. So if a partner wants to work on trade finance, there's different collaborative partners, and Henry will talk about that a little bit later. A Corda trial will allow you to work with more members. So it's 4 to 6 weeks. It's not a lot of heavy lifting, right? We also run these for our members as well, right? Learn about insurance. Learn about KYC. We did one with KYC, about 3 months ago. 39 members, including regulators, joined it. 13 countries. It was so popular, we did it again, ran it, and 20 members wanted to learn on it. We're just starting one, and actually just started one on insurance. And quite a few of the banks here are part of that Corda insurance trial as well, to learn about how insurance could be potentially, insurance claims could potentially be managed by blockchain, by Corda, and be more efficient, not have double claims, that type of thing. So 4 to 6 week project, you can learn. I mean, this is the type of thing you can go to your technology company, go to your bank and say, this is something I want to learn about. So Corda trial is one way to get your hands dirty and with a minimum of fuss. So again, this is for policy payment. This is a little bit more details on this Corda this Corda insurance that's in progress right now. I think we're in week 2 or week 3, right? So first we, again, explain what is Corda as we start this out. What is the use case, right? What are we trying to prove here? And it's not trying to prove everything. It's trying to prove a specific area and learn from it, right? You're going to get on the Corda testnet, learn how to send information, learn how to communicate with other companies. In this case, you could be an insurer, you could be a payer, you could be a claim issuer, different positions in every transaction. When we had the KYC thing, we had regulators just being monitors. That was their role. Right? So you can take different positions in the Corda trial. You do the live trial, you work for a couple days, maybe up to a week, sending transactions to each other. Your IT people have a chance to load up the transactions, send them, understand how that information comes in and out. Right? It's a great way to pick it up quickly. And then what's that? From that learning, you decide, does this make sense or not? What didn't I know? What should I think about more in the future? Right? It's a learning experience. Because in blockchain is, we all saw whether it's 65 trillion or 167 trillion, it's going to change. It's the next industrial revolution. Part of that with AI and supercomputers, everything else, quantum computing and all that. But it's a process, right? One of the things when we built Corda as well, we thought about this. It's not going to change the world overnight. Let's be honest. It's going to have to work with legacy systems. So also in that Corda app trial, you learn how it fits with your legacy systems, right? It's going to move bit by bit and change your world. So it's another way of managing the business and IT both learning about this new technology. Again, the content's all online. We have videos, materials, and again, Corda Connect to be able to understand what's going on. And a lot of it's the understanding, right? I mentioned business as well as IT. IT gets interested in it, but the business, this is what's really going to change. Blockchain, how we manage information and transfer to each other is going to change how you work with your customers, right? How you interact with your customers, how you manage their data, right? And the earlier businesses learn that, the earlier they're going to be able to think ahead and see what the change is and prepare, right? A lot of the stuff now is being built, I think as David said, was, we're replicating existing systems. Trade finance, it's been around for 400 or 500 years. We're replicating the existing systems. But as we build that, there's going to be new products that are going to be available, right? There's new services that we're going to be able to delight our customers, right? And that's the point of having the businesses to understand this as well. So again, Corda, it's the internet of enterprise blockchain, right? We have open source to learn on. We have enterprise that has the functionality that allows you then to go into production. We're here to help. The community here in Thailand is growing incredibly. Thanks to BOT and Inthanon has also, again, helped to build that community. Go, get online, learn. There's a lot of change that's going to happen. We're really excited about it. And I'll finish there. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Carl Wegner, for showing us the great opportunity, lots of the great opportunities that Corda, the most advanced enterprise blockchain technology can bring to us all, to our business opportunities too. So.